What's going on, everybody? Sitting here kicking shit. What's going on, everybody? It's good to see everybody in the building. It's good to see everybody in here. We'll wait a few more minutes, let everybody come into the building. Let everybody come into the room. Good to see you in here, son of Ra. We in here having a funny conversation. What's going on, Dominican truckers? Good to see you in here. It's good to see you in here. We're gonna give a few more minutes, let everybody come in. What's going on, exclusive? Good to see you. What's going on, Lamb Rack? What's good? What's good? It's good to see you guys. It's good to see you all in here. Hope everybody had a wonderful day. It's good as always to see my lifers in the building. Always a pleasure to see everybody in the building, in the digital building. Always a pleasure. So what is going on, guys? Tell me something good. Where is everybody coming in from? I know we have a few new people in here. Where is everybody joining us from tonight? Where is everybody joining us from tonight? Now, if you haven't already, please like the video as you come in. Please like as you come in. Liking helps everyone outside of the show to know the show is happening. YouTube will send out a little bit more notifications to people. I'm assuming that YouTube probably did not send out notifications today. They very rarely do. Maybe they did. Maybe people are just slow to join. But sometimes YouTube just doesn't send out notifications. Right? What's going on, LaTanya? Good to see you in here. Okay, Washington State, Delaware. That's what's up. Good to see you all in here. All of my lifers joining the show. So yeah, if you guys haven't, please like the video. Likes are free. They free than a mug. The likes are free than a mug. So tonight we're gonna LaTanya Smith says, I was just thinking that, clicking like upon coming in. Appreciate it, LaTanya. Good looking out. Good looking out. So tonight will not be before you all very long. I have things to do tonight, but I do want to talk about finding purpose after leaving the org. So that's what we will be talking about tonight. Yeah. If anyone wants to contact me by email, my email address is kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. There's also a Patreon. So if some of you guys want to join via Patreon, there are a few videos on there, and I add videos. I try to add videos on Patreon regularly, but I will not lie and say I do it all the time. No, I take some videos up there every now and then, but I need to get a little bit more swift about Patreon. So yeah, I'm working on Patreon right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to y'all and say, hey, join Patreon. There's a skillion videos up there. There are not. but I am working on it. So yeah, there is a Patreon page. There are a few videos up, and I'm working on getting some more. Yeah. All right. So finding purpose after leaving the org. All right. That's our subject for tonight. Now, what is purpose? Well, let's look at the definition of the word purpose. Let's start there. The definition of the word purpose: the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. That is the noun form. Now, the verb form, interestingly enough, says have as one's intention or objective, and the sentence directly underneath that says God has allowed suffering, even purposed it. Very interesting, yeah? Very interesting definition, yeah? Very interesting. So now, what I did is something I normally don't do, but I went to jw.org and I looked at what exactly they have in mind when they speak about purpose. So let's check out what jw.org says when they speak about justice. And I found something very interesting about their definition and what they believe purpose is. So let's check this out real quick. Now, this is straight from jw.org. I'm going to read this first little paragraph right here. Okay. It says, "Is this life all there is?" How many people here right now remember that talk that they gave called "Is This Life All There Is"? I remember being little and hearing that talk and thinking, they do this talk all the time. And they did. It was almost like every year they gave the "Is this life all there is" talk. Right? But this is the title of this little section. And it says, "Have you ever wondered if there is more to life than just playing, working, marrying, raising a family, and growing old?" The Bible shows that even very wise people have wondered about this. Interesting, right? Okay, well, I'll give you that. Now, as they continue in this article, the Watchtower purports to tell us exactly why humans were created. And I find it very interesting, the definition or the reason they give for why humans were created. Now let's read it really quickly. It says, "God blessed the first human pair and gave them a thrilling assignment. His purpose was for them to fill the earth, make it a paradise, and live forever." Now, let's look at that. In the first paragraph, they say, "Is this life all there is?" Have you ever wondered if there is more to life than just playing, working, marrying, raising a family, and growing old? Right? But then they say God's purpose was for the first human pair, which is what? The first married couple. So, marrying gave them a thrilling assignment. His purpose was for them to fill the earth, right? Which is the same as raising a family. Then God wanted us to make it a paradise, which is the same as working. Right? And live forever, which is basically the same, because in our terms it seems like time goes by fast, right? And a lot of times we think about living forever. I used to think I want to live forever, but I don't think I would want to live forever, because at some point you think, all right, that's enough. What's next? Hell, I've been here too long. So what's the point of this? What am I getting at? And what is purpose? What was my purpose? What is your purpose? What was our purpose? Well, let's talk about it. Now, you know how I am, guys. I like to tell stories. And growing up, being young, I always knew exactly what I wanted to do. I always knew that I wanted to be in entertainment. I knew I wanted to be a choreographer. I wanted to be a hip hop choreographer. I wanted to be a hip hop dancer. I was always very artistic, so that was my thing. So I knew what I wanted to do. So, growing up, I remember the organization always telling me that my goal and my things that I wanted to do did not coincide with what Jehovah wanted me to do. I was taking time away from Jehovah by pursuing the things that I wanted to do with my life. Even though I knew as a teenager exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life. And I remember several brothers telling me that I would be using too much time away from Jehovah pursuing my career as a choreographer and as a dancer. I remember it was to the point that I began to shift my own thinking. Even though I knew exactly what I wanted to do, I started to shift my own way of thinking to fit the narrative that they wanted, because I wanted to be accepted by them. And that was very kind of messed up. Because I knew what I wanted to do. And I remember this one brother, his name was Brother Bailey. And I remember telling Brother Bailey, because I knew that if I said this, he would think that I was very serious and I would get, Jehovah's Witness points for saying this. So I told him, I said, I really, really have wanted to be a choreographer and a dancer for a long time, but I know if I do that, that's just time that can be taken, that's going to be taken away from Jehovah, and I could really be using that time to get further in the ministry and do more in the ministry. Sorry, guys. And as I said that, Brother Bailey replied, Keith, that is music to my ears, because that is exactly right. I know that is just music to my ears. I love hearing you say that. And in my heart, when I said that, I knew I was telling a damn lie, because I knew I knew what I wanted to do, but I was so sucked in that I still wanted that validation from them more than what I really wanted to do. Because at the same time that I knew what I wanted to do, my parents were constantly telling me that I would not be able to do that. They always told me, dancing niggas were a dime a dozen. You're not going to make any money. Figure out something else to do. So on top of them telling me that, the organization was telling me, you're taking time away from Jehovah. Now, I knew back then that was my purpose. And it was. But it would be literally about 12 more years before I would get to the point where I would really be able to live my purpose. Now, the time I'm speaking of in this example, I was about 12, 13. I knew back then what I wanted to do. Now, fast forward a few years. Of course, you know the marriage culture in the organization. I got married when I was 18. And I've always been artistic. Again, I've always been artistic. So one of the last jobs I had before I started working for myself, I was in telecom. I was a circuit designer for a communications company. I was making pretty good money. But at this time, I knew I wanted to start doing things for myself and being more artistic. And I wanted to have my own recording studio. That was back when everybody wanted to be a producer. Everybody wanted to make beats. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I'll make beats, but I won't quit my job or nothing. I'll just make beats on the side. So I ended up having what amounted to about a $10,000 recording studio in my house. I spent, my own money that I worked for. Of course, I'm married at the time, so I was still, making enough money where I could buy, one little piece of equipment every month or whatever. So I ultimately ended up having this really good recording studio in my house. And it got to a point eventually where I was actually the house producer. Me and a partner were house producers for a company here in Nashville on Music Row. So we were actually recording albums from major artists. We were in the studio, and Eric Benet would be in the studio, or the BB and CC Winans would be in the studio, or the Dixie Chicks and Shania Twain would come. We were around all these people. And, we were doing it kind of big. We would be around all these industry parties and all these rich people and all these beautiful women and all these drugs. I never did any because I'm just a little too vain to do drugs, because I know what people who do drugs look like, and I've always been too worried about my physical appearance and my physical health to do drugs, because I just really like being healthy. So I said, yeah, I'm not doing the drugs. But there were drugs around, and we had access to literally whatever we wanted. We would be in the studio, and there would always be someone there, and they would say, "What do you want?" And when they say, "What do you want?" they literally mean, "What do you want?" It's not like they're asking, "What do you want?" within reason. They're asking, "What do you want?" period. And there were times where I'm not going to say any names. I don't want to put anybody out there. But there would be times where we would be in the studio recording, and we could look across the studio, and there would be people doing drugs. And then in another room, in another studio, there would be people who have said, when someone said, "What do you want?" they said, "We want to have sex with some women." So there would be people having sex in that studio, people doing drugs in that studio, people eating Chinese food in that studio. And I'm in this studio recording. I'm married. I'm trying to be good. So I'm not indulging in any of this stuff. I'm just around it. So I'm thinking, what the hell have I gotten myself into? The music business is a wacky business. But those are the things you see when you're trying to do the things that I was trying to do at the time. So I started making music. I kind of got my name out there. I wasn't making a lot of money though, but people knew who I was. I met a lot of people. I really thought that was kind of my purpose because it was going so well. I was getting in there. I was really in with some really, really big time people. And I thought, okay, this is it. I found my thing. Then it just got to a point where I started to see just how cutthroat the business was and how people really don't care about you at all. It is a really horrible business. The music business is a horrible business. So I lost a lot of my equipment. I lost my partner. I lost a lot of things. I said, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. In the back of my mind, though, I always knew I really wanted to be a choreographer. I really wanted to be a dancer. And so I got to a point where I was working at the same place. They let a lot of people go. And I ended up working at Comcast. At that time, it was still called Comcast. I was doing Mac help and customer service, things like that. One day, I just got to a point where I was fed up. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. Right? Now, rewind a bit. There was a woman that I sat next to. Her name was Tanyelle Cole. She is a life coach. She is a life coach, and she is the woman that I attribute to helping me literally change my life. And she sat right next to me at Comcast. Now, one day, I went to work, and Tanyelle and I were both married. She was married. Tanyelle has actually been on my channel. She has 10 kids. And she and I were really close. We would talk every day because we literally sat right next to each other. The way it's set up at Comcast, there's no huge walls. Like I sit here, somebody sits right there, and you just see each other all day. So we would just talk all day. And she was very, very, very intelligent woman, very nice woman, very family-oriented woman. And one day she asked me, she said, Keith, what would you be doing if you didn't have to worry about money and you didn't have to worry about what people thought and you could do whatever you wanted every day? What would you be doing with your life? And I immediately knew the answer. Immediately, I knew the answer. I said, I would be a choreographer. I'd be a dancer. And I went into this huge, long story about how I would make that happen. So I'm talking to Tanyelle, and she's just listening. And I'm just talking. Tanyelle hasn't said a word. She's just listening. So after I finished this long spiel about everything I would do as a choreographer, she says, "You know what, Keith? I have never seen you as happy as I've seen you right now while you're talking about the thing you really want to do." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "So why are you here?" And I thought about that. I thought about that for a long time because I didn't really have an answer other than because I'm married and I got married at 18 and I didn't have much of a choice. That's what I'm supposed to do. So I never really thought I could do anything other than that. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm supposed to have a job. I was never one of the mindset, or I never grew up with the mindset that you can actually make a living without giving up your dream. I never really had that mindset because my parents always told me that I would never be successful. So I was never raised with that mindset. So when Danielle told me that, I really thought about it. I thought about it very intently for a long time. Then one day, I was at work. It was about, now we would both get to work at the same time. We both got there at 4:30 a.m. I would leave my house at 3:30 in the morning. We would both get there at about 4:30 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. 4:30 in the morning. One day I got there 4:30, logged in, and got a phone call and was immediately getting cussed out by a hotel manager whose internet had gone down at the entire hotel. He's cussing me up one wall, down the other. Just 4:30 in the morning, I'm barely awake, and he is just cussing me all the way out. And as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about what Danielle said. I'm thinking about everything she said to me, and I'm thinking, why the hell am I putting up with this? I don't really have to. So why am I putting up with this? So at that point, I stood up, hung the phone up, took my headset off, put it on my supervisor's desk, walked out, and I left. Went home. What are you doing home? I quit. Why? Because I'm tired of getting cussed out every day. Now, of course, that did not go over very well. So, the president of Comcast, his name was Steve Chris. I'm at home, phone rings, him. Mr. Fitzpatrick, what are you doing? I quit. All right, but we would like you to come back. All right, Steve, I'll think about it. Went back the next day. Steve walks up to me, shakes my hand. I felt good. Yeah, the president of Comcast wants me here. Get on the phone, sits down. I can't do this shit. Can't do it. Because I already knew my purpose at that time. I already knew what my purpose was. Already knew what my purpose was. So I sat down. Sorry, Nat. So I sat down. Phone starts ringing. People start yelling. I say, all right, can't do it. Quit again. I'm out. So I quit. Right? Go home. Wife at the time, my ex-wife. What you doing home? I quit. For real this time. I'm done. Doing my own thing. Don't want to work for anybody else. So of course, that didn't go over very well, but it was what I wanted, right? So I said, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start my own dance thing. Now, not only were my parents not too supportive in the beginning, in the very beginning, my ex-wife was supportive. And I think she was supportive because she didn't really think I was going to be that successful. And I know that sounds a little jacked up, but I think it's true. And I have a reason for saying that, which we will get into a little bit later. So, let's take a quick break. Let's look at the chat real quick. That's been 37 minutes of talking. Let's take a short 2-minute break. Let's see what's going on. See if anybody new is in here. What's going on, Wendy Sloan? What's going on, Nikki T? Matilda says, married at 18. That's so abusive of your parents to do that to you, a wee teenager growing up. Terrible. I agree. But I was 18. I made that decision. It wasn't all on them. So I was an adult. Dominican Trucker says, my purpose is to enjoy this winning lottery ticket called life. I'm not waiting for another ticket, which there's not evidence. Why you delete the statement? Come on, why you scared, man? Live in your statement, man. Live in your shit. That's okay. So, excuse me 1 second. So, Latanya Smith says, shifting the paradigm. Correct. Okay, Dominican re-upped his statement. My purpose is to enjoy this winning lottery ticket called life. I'm not waiting for another ticket, which there's not evidence for. Okay. All right. So, if you haven't already, guys, please go ahead and like the video. Please like the video. Please like the video. As we always do, a little bit of ads. We have our own, that's usually in the chat, self-care boss, who has her own massage business in Murfreesboro. The address is 1439 Northwest Broad Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The number is 615-746-7606. The website is www.couturemassage.com. She also has a self-care book called Becoming a Self-Care Boss, 31 Days to Discovery. There will be a link to that in the description as well. Well, there's a picture of it here. The website for the book is www.couturemassage.com/shop. Right? Her goal is to help entrepreneurs in entertainment become self-care bosses. So please, if you are in the Nashville, Murfreesboro, or surrounding area, give our girl Self-Care Boss a call. Let her help you out. Let her help you out with the self-care thing. Yeah? If at any time during the show someone wants to call in, the number is there, 615-270-2094. Don't mind someone calling in. You can call in at any time. But I will not be on long tonight as I have a lot of things to do tonight. But I will be here to get this point across as much as humanly possible. Yeah? Again, my email address is kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. There is a Patreon as well, patreon.com/kfitsmylife. Let's get back to it. So, oh, hold on. You know what? I think I forgot my friend's book. Let's go ahead and give him one more shout out. Guys, my man, Franklin Towngate is an author. He wrote a book called The Harlem Night. The book is about a teen girl who becomes a masked superhero after getting fed up with the high crime in her Spanish Harlem neighborhood. The greatest crime she fights is with an evil business tycoon who accidentally and then purposefully unleashes mechanical dinosaurs in the city that causes terror and vandalism, which forces the night to bring the evil tycoon to justice. Author's name is Franklin Towngate. I think he is an XJW just like us. So if you are interested in that type of story, give this man's book a purchase and check him out. There will be a link to that in the description as well. The Harlem Night book by Franklin Towngate. All right, I think we got the commercial business out of the way. Let's continue with the show, shall we? How about that? All right. So as I said, now at this point in life, 18, married, I had been a professional music producer, been around drugs, sex, drugs, rock and roll, money, all kind of things. Left that and said, I want to be a choreographer and dancer. That's my thing. That is my thing. That's what I'm good at. So there was a little place, I don't know if any of you here are familiar with this area, called Fountain Square in Metro Center in Nashville. In Fountain Square, there was this little studio, this little area, and my ex-wife worked at a hair salon down there. The gentleman that owned this place, and trust me, I'm going somewhere with all this story. This is just going to be, you guys know I like to tell stories, so this is going to be a long story, but there is a point, I promise. So I wanted to start teaching classes. Now, she worked at a hair salon right across the street from this space. She talked to the guy that owned the space. Right? And I ended up renting a space and teaching some classes. That's how I started as a choreographer. I started teaching classes in this space in Metro Center. I would have about 7 or 8 people. Now, I was making shit. Like, I wasn't making hardly anything. I wasn't making hardly any money. One day, though, out of the blue, this lady called me. Her name was Tina. Tina called me and said, hey, there's a studio in Franklin that needs a hip-hop teacher. Would you be interested? I said, sure. Now, I don't know how Tina got my number, and to this day, Tina always has said she doesn't know how she got my number, but she was my agent for several years, but she never really knew how she got my number. So she said, okay, well, the owner of the studio would be down there to see you in your classes to see if you guys, fit. So she came down and saw me teach. She said, all right, when would you be available to come to the studio? I said, I can come tomorrow. So the next day I went. I showed some choreography to some of the students there. Now, before this day, I was making about $150 a month. I was poor. I wasn't making hardly any money. But from this day forward, that day, when she said, okay, yeah, we want you to come on board, I went from making $150 a month to $3,000 a month. Just like that. Bam. All right. Now I'm making some money. All right. I know that only comes out to about $36,000 a year, but I was literally 29 years old, making $36,000 a year, dancing. I'm winning. Right? You know what I'm saying? They say after a certain number of years, you should be making your age per year. Well, I'm 29, making $36,000 a year, dancing. You couldn't tell me shit. Right? So then it got to a point where the owner asked me to be the director of the studio, the artistic director, because the guy who was the artistic director was a singer. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the group called the Low Cash Cowboys. They're a pretty big group. One of the members' names is Chris Lucas. He was the director of this studio. Chris and I became very good friends, but the group started taking off. So now the Low Cash Cowboys, they're called Low Cash now, but at that time they were called the Low Cash Cowboys. Now they're like big stars. They're on the road all the time. So Chris he and his brother had to leave. They're on tour all the time. So I took over. Another bump in pay. But now I'm the face of the studio. Now I've achieved my dream after about a year. Literally started dancing, and probably within a year, I'm the director of a dance studio, and I am supporting my family with the thing that I've always known I've wanted to do. My purpose is paying off. Okay? Now, here's where the shit starts coming in. Because you knew it wasn't going to be a great story. You knew there's going to be some shit in there, right? There has to be a Thanos in here somewhere. There has to be a Darth Vader in here somewhere, right? It can't just be all good. There has to be an Emperor Palpatine in here somewhere, right? So now I finally found my purpose in life, and I'm enjoying it, and I love it. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm getting respect. Everyone knows me. I'm really, really good at what I do, to the point where I really don't even have to think about it. It just happens. When I teach a class, I don't even have to prepare for the class. If someone needs a choreographer, I don't even have to prepare choreography. I can just show up and bam, it comes out. I don't even have to think about it, because it's so in tune with my purpose. This is my purpose. This is what I am meant to do at this moment in my life. Happens naturally every time. I never have to worry about it. And it's not that I'm bragging. It's because once you find your purpose, things happen that way. Once you are in line with your purpose, things happen very, very smoothly. Eventually. It's not always easy. I'm not saying your life is going to go smooth because you find your purpose. I'm saying when you are doing what you love to do, when it's your purpose, it usually isn't difficult because it's what you love to do. It usually happens very naturally. That's what I'm saying. Now, I'm still married at this time. I, as I've told you before, have already left the organization. I'm not trying to be no Jehovah damn witness. Donezo with that. At this point, I'm about 29, 30. Left the organization when I was about 25, 26. Donezo with that, right? Now, I am doing so well in the studio, in the dance world. Everybody is, Keith, we need a dancer for this. Keith, we need a choreographer for this. Keith, we need more time in the studio. We need you here. We need you to do this. We need you to do this. I'm always at the studio making a live. Hey, my wife needs something. Bam, I got it. My wife want to go do something. Bam, she got it. Done. But here's where the issues come in. And I'm not going to contribute this completely to just womanhood. I'm going to contribute this to the Jehovah's Witnesses as well. At this point, she started to get really, really jealous of my happiness with what I was doing. And I remember for her birthday once, she had expressed interest in taking pictures, and I bought her this Sony digital camera. And she never used it. I'm like, I just spent all this money on this. It's like a $600 camera. And I was like, okay, well, I just spent all this money on this camera. You're not even going to use it. It's just sitting here. I said, well, I'll use it. So I took it to the studio. I would take pictures. And she got so pissed. And she was so jealous. And she said, I remember one day we got into this, well, we didn't get into a huge fight. It was just her yelling. I hate the name of the studio was called Remix. I hate Remix. I hate Remix. It's all you ever talk about. You always at Remix. And I hate that place. And on my camera, all it is pictures of Remix. I hate that place. I hate that place. She takes the camera and throws it against the wall, goes into pieces. And I'm thinking, wow. So I say, because you know I got to say something back. Right? Well, I say, well, if you hate Remix so goddamn much, stop spending the goddamn money that I'm bringing home from Remix. If you hate Remix so goddamn much, stop spending all the goddamn money I bring home from Remix then. Because you know one thing, motherfuckers will talk about how much they hate something, but they don't hate that goddamn money. They'll spend the shit out of that shit. So I said, if you hate Remix so goddamn much, stop spending all the goddamn money I bring home from that place then. Don't spend no more money I bring home from that place then. Silence. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna go to Remix. I got something to do now. So I go back to the studio, and I'm really, really doing well. Growing, my career is really growing, it's really taking off. And I knew that the more I stayed in this place, because this place was in Franklin. I don't know if you guys know about Nashville, but Franklin is a very, very affluent part of Nashville. It's like Brentwood. Like the area I live in now is probably like one of the second or third most affluent area in Nashville. It's like Brentwood, Green Hills, yada, yada, yada. So I knew that if I did a good job at this place, this would be the catalyst for my entire career. So I really, really wanted to do a good job. I really wanted to do well. So I really, really dedicated myself to being the best artistic director of this place that I could. Everybody was really, really had a lot of confidence in me. All the kids, all the parents, all the agents in town, everyone really liked me, and I knew that I needed that so that I would be able to go forward with my purpose. Now, granted, I'm still about 30 years old. This was about 14 years ago. Wow. This was about 14 years ago. This was my first big thing, right? Now, eventually, Remix closed. And it was because the owner, I was the artistic director. The owner ended up getting divorced, and she didn't want the studio anymore. Now I was going to take it over, and I was going to have all these people who had said they were going to invest in me taking over the place. So I thought I would have it. All those plans fell through. I didn't get the place. So I had about 200 students I had to send to another studio. So at this point, no studio, wasn't teaching anywhere, didn't know what I was going to do. So I put myself out there. I said, hey, anybody needs a choreographer, a teacher, I'm available. So I picked up a studio, and I was maybe doing like 1 or 2 classes a week. I wasn't doing a lot of choreography. I wasn't doing a lot of dance work. Eventually, another studio called. This studio needed another hip hop teacher. So I ended up teaching at this studio for about 8 years. Then Vanderbilt University called. I taught at Vandy for about 7 or 8 years. Then a studio in Clarksville called. Taught that studio for about 3 years. Then Austin P called. I ended up being an adjunct professor there. So all this stuff just happened all at the same time. I was always somewhere. I never had to worry about what I was going to be doing because I was always somewhere. Then this workshop tour called. Every weekend I would be in another city. I would be in New York, Houston, Dallas, Austin, LA, Denver, Chicago. Like, I was in all these places. Then I ended up going on this audition for a Beyonce concert. In there with all these great dancers that were on So You Think You Can Dance, right? Beat out so many of them till there was just the last 8 people. Got through, booked it, everything was all set. They ended up going with some different dancers at the very last minute. But I literally booked a Beyonce tour. So you couldn't tell me shit after that. I'm like, I'm the shit. You really can't tell me shit. I'm the shit, right? So then, after all of that, my time with the studio ended. My time with Vanderbilt ended. My time with a lot of those other things ended. And I was still teaching at 1 or 2 more places, still doing a lot of choreography, still performing in videos. Like I said, I've just performed in a video about a month ago. But that was my purpose. That was my purpose. And in the face of my parents telling me that I would never, ever achieve my purpose, in the face of the Jehovah's Witnesses telling me that I would never, ever achieve my purpose, in the face of my wife at the time telling me that I would never, ever achieve my purpose, I still achieved my purpose because I knew what it was. Was it easy? No. There would be times where my assistant would say things like, "You are a machine." And I was. I would work so hard at getting where I wanted to go because I knew in my mind that there was no way I was not going to be successful. There was no way that I was not going to be successful. So I would work so hard. I would outwork so many people that were so much younger than me. I would push myself, and everyone around me would be so tired, and I would still be going. I would still be pushing. I never got tired. I would be so tired, and I would still push like I wasn't. Because I knew what my purpose was. I knew what my purpose was. So now I'm at a point in life, I'm 44, still dancing, still performing, still shooting videos, still choreographing, I'm still doing my thing. But I'm at a point where I'm saying, what else do I want to do with my life? I've already mastered that. I teach master classes because I'm at a point where I've amassed so much knowledge in my field that I have a lot of information to pass down at a master level. And, I make really good money doing that. People pay, several $100s per hour just for me to teach a master class. But that was my purpose then. What's my purpose now? And I'm trying to figure that out. What's the next thing? What do I want to do going forward? What's my purpose going forward? And in the process of me trying to figure that out, I do something that I call my morning paces. Every morning, I get up, and I get up either between 3:30 and 7, somewhere in there. I usually try to shoot for about 4:30 is when I try to get up. And I start right here, and then I walk all the way back to the kitchen, and I just pace back and forth. Just pace. I'm in my bathrobe, and I just pace, and I just think. And whatever thoughts come out, they come out. If they're great thoughts, I have great thoughts. If they're sad thoughts, I have sad thoughts. But the sad thoughts only get the time where I'm pacing. After I stop pacing, I don't give them any more time. But I use that morning. I use that time in the morning to allow everything to come out. It's quiet. There's no sound, hardly. There's no sound in my house anyway. I'm always by myself, and there's no TV, so there's no sound. But you know how it is in the morning. I get up, I open the blinds, all the sunlight comes in, and I let all the good things come in, and I try to let all the bad things go out. And in finding my new purpose, I've had to get to a point where I allow myself to be happy about where I am in life, because there's so much that I can think about that has been negative in my life. Like Aramis brought up, the being homeless, the losing your family, the things that I've done to people that have disappointed them, the things people have done to me that have disappointed me, the times where I'm here, and the times where I'm lonely, and the times where I wish things were like they once were. But this morning when I was doing my paces, I literally thought, for a moment, it just kind of sunk in. And I thought, dude, you have some fucking amazing friends. My boy Roger, my boy Khalil, my boy Justin, my boy Rome, my boy Kyler, all my dudes. Because for a long time when I left the organization, I didn't have any male friends. I only really had my ex-girlfriend. She was like my best friend. I didn't have any friends, like hardly. And now I have all these friends. And when I first started getting them, she would even say things like, I'm getting jealous of you having all these new friends, because she wasn't making new friends. And I found that just like with my ex-wife, when people aren't on their purpose and things aren't happening for them, people will not always be happy for you. People will very rarely be happy for you when you're on your purpose. And that's something that you have to get used to. The reason that my dudes are my dudes is because they're all successful people and we're all supportive of each other. When I went through my breakup, all my dudes were there for me. They were all there for me, and I wouldn't have gotten through it had it not been for them. One of my dudes went through a breakup. I was there for him. That's my dude. He lost his girlfriend. Shit, I lost mine. We were there for each other. That was my dude. And they are all on their purpose as well. All of them, for the most part, are on their purpose. They're happy when I do well. I'm happy when they do well, but we are all at a point where if one of us is fucking up, we'll all say, dude, you are fucking up right now. What are you doing? And it's because we want all of us to be on our purpose. And it's very rare that you find people who are actually in your corner and are happy for you when you're doing what makes you happy in life. Most people are so terribly unhappy with their lives. The last female I went out with, I enjoyed going out with her because she actually enjoyed what she did. And after my ex and I broke up, my ex would always complain about her job. Every day, complain about her job. Every single day. Hate my job, hate my job, hate my job, hate my job. There'll be 1 or 2 days where she would be happy. Then the rest of the time, hate my job, hate my job, hate my job, hate my job. And I got so sick of hearing that. I would always say, well, do something else. Do something else. Stop bitching about it. Do something. And so I went out with this girl, and she loves her job. She loves her career. She doesn't have a job. She has a career. And she loves her career. And I would literally just sit and listen to her, and I would see the smile on her face when she talked about her career. And it would remind me of what Tanyelle told me all those years ago. Keith, when you talk about what you really want to do, I can see how you light up when you talk about it. And when this young lady would talk about her career, I could see how happy she was with what she did. And it made me literally just really want to listen to her about what she was doing. It was really, really cool. Probably won't see her again because she being crazy. But probably won't see her again because she being crazy. But the point is that when you are on your purpose, it makes everything way, way better. And as people who are brought up in an organization that has told us that our main purpose in life, this is what they've told us. This is what they told us, right? That our purpose. Check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Look at this, man. This is what they tell us that our purpose is. Hold on. See, they told us that our purpose was to have children, make the whole earth a paradise, and to take care of the animals. That's God has a wonderful purpose for humans. created the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, to live in a beautiful garden. His purpose was for them to have children, to make the whole earth a paradise, and to take care of the animals. All right, yeah. So one day, we'll be able to have children and take care of all the animals on the planet, right? And build kingdom halls. No. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a whole theological conversation, because you guys know how I feel about religion. But what I will say is this. The Great Spirit, the Creator, God, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever you call that being or that spirit, gave us the ability to think about what we want with our lives. And he gave us the tools that we all need to achieve those things, regardless of what other people say to us, and even regardless of what we say to ourselves. What I would hope and what I believe is that whatever life we want for ourselves is possible, as long as we believe enough in ourselves to take the necessary steps to achieve those goals. And I also believe that the Creator of everything gave us part of it so that we don't have to ask it for anything. It's all in us. So when we're asking it, we're asking ourselves to shut up and do it, right? Make it happen. Our purpose, in my opinion, is to find our purpose and live our purpose and be true to ourselves. We have to do it ourselves because people will not always be there to support us. We have to figure out what it is in our lives that makes us fucking happy. We all may not have the talent to be a choreographer or a producer or a painter or a singer or any of all those things, but everybody has something that they love to do. And I think it just has gotten to the point where a lot of people in general, not just ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, a lot of people in general have gotten to the point where we are afraid to take the leap off of the edge of security because we are afraid that we're going to fall. And we forget that there is also a chance that we could actually fly. And for me, I had to say, what if I fly? Not what if I fall. What if I actually fly? And I did. I flew. And I am still flying to an extent. We have to get rid of the programming that we were programmed with all those years that we were in the organization, and not just from the organization, but the same programming that we have been given from society itself, because there aren't only Jehovah's Witnesses who are afraid to do the things with their lives that they really want to do. That's not just something that happens to Jehovah's Witnesses. That's something that happens to adults in general. We forget that we have an imagination and that we have the ability to bring forth the things that we want to bring forth in this world, because we start listening to people who have no purpose, and people who are jealous of you for having a purpose, and people who hate you for having a purpose or for daring to have an imagination and for daring to have the gall to think you don't have to be a part of the machine like they do, for daring to think you don't have to go to work for someone else every day, for daring to think that you have an ability that sets you apart from everyone else in this world who is living a mundane existence simply because that is what they have been told that they have to do. How dare you think differently from me? How dare you think you're better than me? And it's not anything about thinking you're better than them. It's thinking that you can be better than who you have been told you are supposed to be. And for many years, I lived my life in the shadows of what everyone told me that I was supposed to do, and I was miserable. There were times where I would literally think I was going crazy because I was so unhappy doing the things that I was doing because it was not what I wanted to do. And I didn't get to a point of actually being happy with my life until I said, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm doing what I want to do no matter what. And that's how we have to get sometimes. We have to get to the place that no matter who it pisses off, be it your spouse, be it your children, be it your siblings, or be it your parents, you want happiness more than acceptance. And when you get to that point, that's when the shackles come off and you can fly. I'm not here to tell anyone what their purpose is because I don't know. Only you know that. What I am here to say is that I honestly believe that deep down, most of us know what our purpose really is or what we lean toward. And if you're not doing what you're meant to do with your life, then all you're doing is wasting time. And unfortunately, the one thing that we have in life that we can never get back is time. My biggest regret or my biggest fear in life is to be on my deathbed, hopefully with my daughter there and her husband, and hopefully a woman that loves my ignorant ass. But the one thing that I don't want to be surrounded by on my deathbed are the ghosts of my unfulfilled dreams. The ghosts of my unfulfilled purposes. While they look down at me and say, yeah, we love you too, but why didn't you love us back? Why didn't you love us enough to bring us into existence? Now what are we going to do? You're about to die. No regrets. No regrets. So whatever your gift is here in the present, make sure you use the present as a present for your future. Don't leave your future a lump of coal. Make sure you wrap a wonderful, beautiful gift in the present for the future you. Because I'm sure your future you will thank you for it. Find your purpose. Experiment. If you don't know what your purpose is, try new things. Try different things. Try things you've never done before. Try things that you think you've wanted to do, but you've been too afraid to do them. Do the things that you've always thought, if I do this, somebody's going to think I'm crazy. Okay, well, do it anyway. Do it anyway. All my friends in my neighborhood would dance. We would all get out in the middle of the street, under the street lights. All the dudes, all the girls in the neighborhood. We would all get out there and dance. Go in the chat, guys. Go in the chat and tell everybody what your gift is. Tell everybody what your gift is, man. What is your gift? Put your gift in the chat. Let's bring this shit to fruition. What is your gift? Put your gift in the chat. We would get out in the street and dance. Man, we would dance all day. Back in the day, man, under the street lights, in the middle of the street. Car coming, everybody back out. Get back out there. Just be dancing. Whoa, whoa. Good dance. I'm talking about, man, we would be going in out there. All of them said, man, I'm going to do this forever. How many of them did it forever? One, me. And I wasn't even the best one for a long time. I was the sorriest one. I just knew what my freaking purpose was. So I worked harder and longer, right? David says, fulfilling our purpose with a real meaningful life versus fulfilling somebody else's purpose is a night and day difference for happiness. Watchtower made us trade freedom for fallacious security. Agreed. Very well said. JJ Jr. says, my gift is to make others feel better. Latanya Smith says, I'm in the process of finding what to do. Well, keep looking, man. Nikki T says, your gift is motivational speaking, Fitz. Maybe, I don't know. I've heard that before once or twice. I like talking. Wendy Sloan says, any interest in politics? She also says, you are a sage artisan. Aramis says, my gift is art and design, but my true gift is helping people. I've been told that I would be a good counselor. What are you waiting for, Aramis? Wendy Sloan, why do you ask if I have any interest in politics? I would like to know why you asked that before I answer. Exclusive says crafts, cake decorating, etc. All right. Good, good. Now, as you place in the chat what your gift is, place what you're doing to get yourself toward that gift. List what you're doing to actually help you get toward that gift. Don't just list what the gift is. List what you're doing to help you get closer to being that thing that you listed in the chat. Gypsy says, my gift is caring for people that I love. I have a giving nature. Also enjoy photography and graphic design. Good. Wendy says, you're a good thinker. Thank you. David says, being a listener to show empathy and compassion. I used that working in bankruptcy law from 2008 to 2017 to help people in great distress financially as a client debt consultant. Nice. Tanya says, drawing, sculpting, paint, massaging, elderly care, kids, doing hair, cooking, caring for animals. Wendy Sloan says, because I am thinking of it. Okay, Wendy. All right. Now, Tanya, you listed everything. Everything. Now, why are we not getting as many statements about what you're doing to get toward that as we were for people stating what they're actually wanting to do? What are we doing to get us toward that goal? Now, we can't have that new system way of thinking. We can't have that it'll happen one day thinking. We have to make that shit happen. So what are we doing to make those things happen? That is the very next question. As much as we enjoy doing things, as much as we have plans on doing things, what are we actually doing to bring those plans into fruition? Whitney Sloan says, how about we becoming the new system? Seriously though, guys, everybody has all these goals. Everyone listed all these goals. Gypsy, you said something very, very, very interesting. She says, yeah, photography and graphic design is on hold for now. Too busy trying to work to get by and live comfortably. You know what, Gypsy? I'm going to say something directly to you. I'm going to say something directly to you. Directly to you. You know what trying to get by and living comfortably does? Let me tell you what trying to get by and living comfortably does. Being so busy trying to work to get by and live comfortably makes you unaware of time. And one day you look up and you are like 50 and you wondering, where the hell did all the time go? You can't, a lot of times you can't be comfortable until you put yourself in an uncomfortable position. The reason why I was homeless and I stayed homeless so long was because I knew that being in that uncomfortable position would force me to do something that I'd never done before. A lot of times, working to get by and being comfortable is the biggest hindrance to you reaching your potential. More often than not, you have to put yourself in a different surrounding if you want a different outcome. You can't do the same things you always have done and expect something different to happen. You can't continue to live comfortably and get by and expect to be in a position where you don't have to worry about getting by anymore. Sometimes, for the most part, you're going to have to step into uncomfortability now to have comfort later. If you do the things most people don't do now, you'll be able to live the way most people can't later. Airman says, I'm homeless. Been there. 3 years. Done it. No big deal. You're not homeless. Earth is your home. You'll be all right. Use this time to find your purpose and make it happen. I was still choreographing and dancing. I was going to the one of the members of Florida Georgia Line. They have a bar here in Nashville. They're a big group. I was going to his mansion 3 times a week to teach him how to dance. I would leave his fucking mansion, get in my car, go to the Walmart parking lot. He was paying me, of course. But he didn't know I lived in my 95 Integra in the Walmart parking lot between the Lowe's. He didn't know that. I was on my purpose, though. My purpose was to be a choreographer. That was my purpose. Everything that was happening around that was irrelevant. It was insignificant. Okay? It was insignificant. We have to look at the end game, not just today. Remember, the present is a gift to the future. Don't just think about what's happening right now. Think about what you can do right now to make the future you a happier person. So don't always be comfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. You won't break. Be uncomfortable. Your greatness lies in the midst of discomfort. David says the definition of insanity can become self-fulfilling if we're not proactive. Sometimes, though, life does happen and is gonna happen. I've had major adjustments to make financially. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And that just goes along with what I'm saying. Life is gonna happen. Things are gonna happen. So we might as well roll with it. We might as well roll with it. Trust me, I'm not saying that my life is perfect. It is not. There's times I have to figure shit out all the time. I have to figure stuff out a lot of times. Like, how am I gonna do this? But it always works out. I refuse to not allow it to. I will make shit happen. Somehow or another, shit's gonna be okay. Right? But it is because, I honestly believe it is because I know what my purpose is. I know what my goals are. I speak about them every day. I think about them every day when I do my paces in the morning. Every day I plan out what my next day is. Like, I already know everything I have to do tomorrow. I have it all written out. Tomorrow I have to do this, and this. Tomorrow I have to create my new Libsyn account, get my iTunes back up and running. I have to do new ads for Teespring. I have to create new products for Teespring. I have a whole list of things to do tomorrow. My whole day is already planned. And when I do that walking back and forth in the morning, between me laughing at myself and crying at myself, after I get all the laughs out, after I get all the cries out, then I start planning. Okay, what you gotta do tomorrow? What you gotta do tomorrow? What you gotta do tomorrow? Okay, you gotta go to Libsyn.com. Your iTunes account is not working anymore. You have to set it up again. You have to pay them again. You have to switch all those bills from your other credit card to this credit card. You have to download all those shows, edit them in New Window, upload them to iTunes. It's about 4 shows per week, so you're going to have to do that every week. All right, you got that done? Cool. Now you got to plan for your next show. Oh, that's right. Tomorrow, your screen for your Surface that your ex-girlfriend broke is coming, so you're going to have to redo that. All right, now if you got that Surface screen installed, now you got to take your ass out of this house and type up what you're going to talk about tomorrow. You got to figure that show out, right? Okay, you got that done. Good. Like, everything is a plan. That's purpose. Purpose is not waking up every day not knowing what you're going to do. That's being an imbecile. That's wasting time. That's living as if time is forever, and time is not forever. Death is right around the corner. And every day brings us closer to that damn corner. And I know for one damn thing, I want to get some shit done before I hit that corner. Okay. David says, always remember, with credit, despite what society tells us, we are not our credit. It can and will be rebuilt. 400, 500, 700, 800 is doable even when life gives us bitter lemons. That's true. Airman says, raise my credit from a 500 to a 7 in less than 9 months thanks to Keith's video. Appreciate it, Aramis. Yeah, man, if anybody needs help with credit, I do a lot of rebuilding. I rebuilt my credit while I was homeless too. Gypsy says, I like that you are always staying busy but being innovative and doing what makes you you and accomplishing your goals. Thank you, Gypsy. That is not something um, that is novel to me. It's something that we all are capable of doing. David, if you need any help with your credit, give me a call, man. Or shoot me an email. I know you probably already know how to do it, but if you need some help, you're more than welcome to reach out. So I'm not gonna rant any longer. I didn't even plan on being on this long. But my point, guys, is that I know how difficult it is in this world to not just find your purpose, but to live in your purpose. So many of us are so concerned about what people think. So many of us listen to those gremlins in our heads. It's very difficult to live in purpose, in our own purpose. And if I could say anything, I met my aunt cooked at homecoming. Because TSU's homecoming was this past weekend. My aunt cooked dinner, and I went to her house, and this lady came by, really pretty, dark-skinned lady, really pretty lady. And I introduced myself to her. Well, my cousin introduced me to her. So I'm sitting, I'm looking at my aunt. My aunt's giving me that funny look. I'm like, all right, let me go over here and holler at Aunt Renee right quick. I said, Aunt Renee, who's this lady over here in this blue jean jacket? She said, you mean the one that keep looking at you? And I said, yeah, who was that? She said, she told me her name. She said, well, come here, I'll introduce you. I said, no, I already know her name. She said, well, I'll introduce you again. I said, you know what? You ain't got to worry about it. She'll be over here in about 2 minutes. I walked over to her. I said, hey, would you like something to drink? She said, yeah. So I grabbed her hand. I said, come on, let's go get something to drink. She said, all right. My aunt was like, damn. She said, all right, well, carry me on then. I said, well, let's go. Let's go. So we got something to drink, and we sat and talked, and she was telling me about what she wants to do with her life and what she's already doing. Now, she is a fitness model. She's older, but she is in amazing shape, and I would never have suspected her to be the age she was. Beautiful woman, beautiful dark-skinned woman. And we had the same conversation. She was saying the same things as a lot of people said. She was saying, I don't know if I'm working here. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I know my age. People say, what are you going to do at your age? And why are you trying to set your age? And what are you? And I said the same thing. Look, I've been there. I said, I'm 44, and the people that I perform with or perform against are literally half my age, if not more than half my age. But I don't let that stop me, and neither should you. I said, sometimes you just can't stick your toes in the water. Sometimes you have to cannonball in that junk. So that's the same thing that I would say to all of you. And she said, you know what? You're exactly right. I said, stop being afraid to fly, man. We are so afraid to fall that we forget how great it feels to fly. So don't be afraid to fly, people. None of us can be afraid to fly. The Watchtower put an anchor on our ankles and made us not want to fly. Well, we're not a member of the Watchtower anymore. We're not a member of the Watchtower anymore. There's no chains. There are no chains on any of our ankles. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. All of us can. The only person that is stopping you from being who you want to be is you. And don't allow you to do that to yourself. So, I think I've said everything I need to say. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, for being part of this show. My lifers, I really appreciate you all so much. I think, let's see, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? I don't know. I think this will be a good one. I think we're going to talk about, is it better to fade or to be disfellowshipped? I'm pretty sure this will be one where we'll have several people calling in. So, yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show. All my lifers, I love you guys so much. It's always a pleasure to come in and talk to you all. So we will see you all tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. All right. If you haven't liked, please like, share the video. And again, if you haven't already, give a shout out. Well, like the video. We'll do that first. Like the video. If you need to email me, the email is kfitsmylife@hotmail.com. Don't forget to hit up our girl Couture Massage. Hit her up. She is doing great things for people. Also, don't forget to check out the Teespring store for your boy. Don't forget to check out the Teespring store, the K Fits My Life store. Don't forget to check it out. There is a link to the show. Not to the show. There's a link to the store in the description. So check out the Teespring store. And also, don't forget to check out the book, The Harlem Night by Franklin Towngate. It's a cool brother. Don't forget to check out the K Fits My Life store again. You know I had to plug my store twice because it's my store. Don't forget to check out the store, guys. All right. Thank you all so much for coming through. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you all on the next one tomorrow. All right. See you soon. Peace.